Hey, what's up, everyone? So, Nick here with Seeking Ultra. We finished up the Hitchcock experience this last weekend, and it was one to remember. Exactly what they promise. So, I ran my first Ultra. Here it is. So, it's been a long journey. I hope to, in the future, kind of break down my entry into the sport here in the coming days and weeks. As right now I'm just shooting this on my iPhone, and so I'll be getting more gear here to set up the channel, and there'll be tons more content, a ton more races in 2023. But here we are. I just thought, why wait? I'm not going to wait for better lighting. That's coming, better camera equipment and all that. I just want to get this stuff out to you all. And just like there's so many other channels who are providing great content, I want to share my experiences and hear from you. So that's what the comment boxes are all about. So before I forget, go ahead and add a comment down below. What was your first Ultra? Was it a 50K, 50 miler, 100K, 100 miler, or whatever it was? It's a special moment, just like hitting any first race, whether it's a 5K or a 10K. It's very meaningful in the running world, the endurance athlete world. And so hit me up in a comment below and let me know what it is. But without further ado, let's see, hopefully we can get a good focus on this. There she is. All right. Hopefully you can get a good focus on that. I'll add a still frame in the editing if I think about it. But just wanted to give a quick rundown on my thoughts on the Hitchcock experience. 50 miler. Started at 9 p.m. and ran until you're finished. I finished at about 11:45 Sunday morning. So honestly, it went about according to plan. I thought it was going to be about 3.5 hours per loop. It was 12 and a half mile loops or laps. And so 12 and a half times 4, there's your 50 miles. And it was great. It did not disappoint. Weather was pretty calm for December in the Midwest, in Southwest Iowa. And it was pretty darn cool. It was just a really wonderful experience. Highly encourage you, if you're looking for something to kind of cap off the racing season, and you've got a little bit of time to prepare for it, highly encourage you to check it out. It was a phenomenal race. They put on hopefully I can put a link in the description, the GOATZ, that's GOATZ.org. They put on fantastic events, and this was no exception. So you saw the award, pretty cool. Now I want to do the 100 so I can get the belt buckle, right? But maybe talk about a little bit about the course. So again, it was a 12 and a half mile loop, and ran basically single track, some not really fire road type, but sort of, mostly packed dirt, a little bit of rocky stuff, and some cow pasture. As it turned out, there was a good section where we stepped off of the Hitchcock Nature Preserve and went on to this private property that was so generously opened up to the course. So that was a lot of fun, dodging cow patties at 2 in the morning. And I want to do a quick rundown on equipment and how that played out for me. Hydration and just overall fuel. So the course, the race offered tailwind and kind of your ultra marathon staples: Coke, water, ginger ale, everything you could imagine. Coffee, check that box too. A couple times I had coffee, and that helps you out big time. I chose to carry Martin's, or Maurten. To me, it tastes better than Tailwind. I have Tailwind. I will train on Tailwind from time to time. The naked flavor, just the flavorless. I feel like Martin's flavorless is just better on my stomach. And as it turned out, about halfway through the race, it became cumbersome for me to load the powder packets into my hydration vest, my flasks, and so I just said, the heck with it, I'm going to use their Tailwind. I know Tailwind, I buy Tailwind, so I'm just going to use their Tailwind, and it did not sit well with my stomach, so I ended up turning to ginger ale, and that fixed it immediately, which was great. So that happened. As far as other fuel goes, I kept some honey stinger waffles just for something easy to carry. The aid stations, again, were phenomenal. I can't say enough good about the volunteers and just the overall support that the runners had for this event. Had a lot of ramen noodles, not a lot, twice. Some had a breakfast burrito at one point. One of the aid stations was particularly helpful, and the volunteer made two different times, made a nice bacon avocado wrap for me. So that was phenomenal and much appreciated. And what else? Some occasional cookie, just to kind of give you a boost. But yeah, just your usual ultra marathon fare was offered and much appreciated. Again, the volunteers just knocked it out of the park. It was a lot of fun. As far as clothing goes, just regular socks. I did not do the Exoskin toe socks this time around. Yeah, and I guess I can just touch on it right now. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't get a ton of training done with Exoskin socks, and I did buy an extra pair of their wool quarter length toe socks for this event, but as it got nearer, really they just fit kind of funny on my pinky toe. And so nobody wants to go into their first ultra with any sort of hesitation on equipment, and so that really is why I stuck with the Bomba socks. I've run hundreds and hundreds of miles this year on the Bombas, and so I was just more confident in staving off blisters with that, and used Squirrel Nut Butter's Happy Toes, their salve, which it smells amazing, it feels amazing, and then I just used a little bit of Body Glide around the ankles, front of the foot, and kind of I don't tape up my feet. This wasn't a 100-miler or 200-miler, so maybe you all tape up your feet even for a 50. I didn't feel the need. Experience will eventually show me when to tape and when not to tape. But fortunately, knock on wood, I've been pretty fortunate to not get blisters. So that was the sock situation. I wore a really nice, and then more Exoskin. I'll just touch on Exoskin. If you haven't heard of them, hopefully I can throw a link in the description for them as well. And this is just me. I'm not a sponsored or an ambassador or anything like that. It's just me sharing the stuff that I like. Exoskin underwear, I'm telling you, it might be the best there is out there. So I wear them exclusively. Even if a short has a liner in it, I either cut it out or just wear it over the top of the Exoskin underwear. Exoskin base layer T, I've done their shorter. They have three. It's either a sleeveless, kind of a short sleeve, or then like a 3/4. It hits you right about the elbow. So I wore both the short and the 3/4 length this weekend. Just you get, again, there was hardly a breeze, so I was really saturated in perspiration pretty quick. So after the second lap at mile 25, I swapped out my base layer and then a long sleeve over the top of that. But my tights were Craft, a nice fleece lined, nothing terribly special, didn't have a weather break on it or anything. Or weather shield on the front or sides or anything like that. It was just enough, which was great. You don't want your legs to get sweaty. And a stocking cap, simple stocking cap. Even my lightweight running gloves that's typically for, usually I keep that for, depending on wind and cold, usually about the 40 degree, 40 to 50 degree weather. But it was super calm. From 9 o'clock start, it was just under 30 degrees, and lowest it got was right about 5:30. It was down to about 21. The wind started kicking up a little bit right before sunrise too. So, and then I had some big large mittens to stick my hands into. I had hand warmers. I didn't use them. I just didn't need them. It was really, overall I stayed warm. Getting cold was not an issue. So pretty fortunate in that regard. Last thing I'll touch on as far as equipment, well, not the entirely last thing, but as far as clothing goes, I started the race in the Saucony Exodus Ultra. You can see that's how dirty the trail was, about like that. And halfway through at the 25-mile mark, my feet were hurting and I needed a reset. So that's when I switched base layers up top, switched jacket, and ate a bunch of really good food, got a cup of coffee, and switched socks and shoes, new pair of Bombas, and then went to the Ultra Olympus. Hopefully you can see, great shoe. It is a 0-drop shoe, but I didn't care. I just needed something plush underfoot with great grip. The descents were really steep in a few sections of the course, and I just really needed to have something that I could trust to stick when I needed it to, and then also just to bomb down sections that it was going to grip when I needed it to grip, especially in the dark. And the Olympus, I'm not sure what I called that, but it's the Olympus 4. Yeah, the Ultra Olympus 4. It delivered. It's a great shoe. What else? So speaking of dark, bombing down in the dark, I was rocking the Petzl, what is this? The Swift RL. Hopefully you can see that. So Swift RL, I had done a fair amount of research on headlamps for an overnight ultra, and obviously this is the one that I felt was the best. The reactive lighting, jury's still out. Maybe I'll do a future review on each of the items that I've used this past year in 2022. Just a side note, I lost count of how many pairs of shoes I've bought this year. Let me put it that way. I think 8, 9, 10 pairs this year. So I've worn a lot of shoes this year. So I might have to start doing some reviews. We'll just take a step back. The Saucony Exodus Ultra has just under 100 miles, and the Ultra Olympus 4, that shoe, well, after this weekend, it's probably got 50 or 60 miles, maybe. It's pretty new shoe to me. So yeah, maybe we'll have to do or maybe I'll just do a comprehensive cumulative shoe review of just all the shoes that I've done and try and keep it a short video. But back to the Petzl. Great headlamp. It's got the reactive lighting, so when there's light around you, and there were a lot of runners, and so there were a lot of areas that were just not well lit, but there was, you weren't alone, and so it reacts to that. Not sure how I feel about that. The cold temps really ate up the battery, so I was hoping to make it to sunrise, which would have been a tall order. And it turned out to be an even taller order with the temperature. So I did have a backup battery. I had a backup Petzl, just an old Tika headlamp with AAA batteries, and I did have to swap out the battery on the Swift RL. So that's that. Other than that, just wanted to get this video out there. I ran into a lot of cool people. Shout out to Wyatt from South Dakota. It was a pleasure to meet you. Wish I would have ran with you longer. And I did catch you crossing the finish line too. So that was pretty cool. Way to go. And shout out to Chris from outside Des Moines, Iowa. I picked him up around the 3 mile mark, and he dropped me at about the 49 mile mark. So he wanted to cross the finish line. He wanted to run it in. So he was running the 100K, and of course I was doing the 50 miler, but basically ran with Chris for about 47 miles, 46, 47 miles. So shout out to you as well. And then to Ron and the gang with the goats for putting on the race, and look forward to seeing you all next year at one of the other races, if not the Hitchcock. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to y'all soon.